Well, hi everybody. Welcome to my YouTube channel here on Dice Up the Classroom. It's been a while since I did a bit of a vlog here for a book review, so I thought I'd get this here, a nice little kickoff for the return of the school spring semester. So I wanted to review Dan Tricarico's Sanctuaries: Self-Care Secrets for Stressed Out Teachers. This came out for the Dave Burgess Publishing Incorporated book. This book just came out last week. There's been a nice one, but this is a really, really good book. I know I rarely ever talk about a bad thing from the DBC, but one thing that we all know as teachers, educators, people who have been doing this a year, 6 months, 30, 40 years, is there comes a part, excuse me, where people get stressed out. People feel burnout. It happens to everybody. It happens to the accountant. It happens to a person that's just worrying about filing some files every day for their accountants and just from simple bookkeeping. But everybody feels the burnout. And in education, majority of times, the average is about 4 years teachers are burned out. And what is so amazing about Sanctuaries is Dan gives some wonderful advice. He wrote the book, The Zen Teacher, a couple years ago, and this is really the next level. Dan really brings them some wonderful mindfulness into it, both in a physical and literary sense here with his words about, trying to find that area, trying to, find your sanctuaries, trying to find that peace where you just always love to go, places where you can unwind, places where you can understand and concentrate in different ways too, such as, finding your harmony, giving yourself permission to say no or yes to something, trying to not get yourself in over your heads and a few other things. But something that really made me really enjoy about this book the most here, and once I get it right here, I had it bookmarked, give me a second, is talking about subtraction. Subtraction is about where you take away something from your schedule, from yourself, something that is really just making things overburdening. Maybe that is saying I can't go to that event and house it maybe next time, or actually saying what, don't need to go to that, don't really do anything with it, I can mark that off my calendar, I've gotten a nice couple hours, I can go spend time with my kids, I can read that book, I can work on my bullet journal, stuff like that. But he's talking about subtraction. And subtraction can go two ways. Sometimes we subtract too much from our lives, but then we have this other ones where we're just very busy and we just keep adding more and more because that's how we think, that's how we done it. We got to do it all. We've got to help every single student. We've got to cover that budget. We've got to tutor. We've got to go. We've got to make sure we get to grandma's birthday and so forth. And one thing about subtraction is really just taking about, say, do I really need to buy this? Do I really need to, where is the excessive amount of, can I streamline this a little bit? What can I get rid of that is not only going to make my life better, but is also going to make a lot of other people's better? And it's looking for that. I mean, Dan went as far as taking everything off his walls in his classroom and having blank walls until his art teacher decorated a couple things he made for him. I could never do that. I can't stand bare classrooms because that's just who I am. But I did learn there were some things I didn't need in my classroom. I didn't need those extra files from 12 years ago. It's not needed anymore. Why are they taking up space in my file cabinet? I can toss those out. Why am I working on an exercise now that is obsolete, and I've combined it with 4 other lessons that are much more prevalent and much more realistic to students? That's about subtraction. And of course, our biggest areas, of course, is finding that bliss area, that place where you can go on where it just makes your life happier. For me, sometimes it's just going downstairs and, putting together, some of my perler beads and working on a couple other pieces. Sometimes it's about making an awesome art. Sometimes it's sketchnoting. Sometimes it's, just doing some self-care checks right here. But, I have that point where I can go down, find that blissful area, which is great. Because one of the biggest things that Dan talks about in his book is about self-care. And self-care is really needed for everyone. And I think many times we don't do that. I mean, we are very busy of always putting others in front of us, our students, our family, our spouses. And we unfortunately, don't take time to really take care of ourselves. And one part that's really amazing right here that I really like here is about the margins, about setting that limit. A margin, as is where, as a writer, you write. And as you go, you, of course, stop saying you can't write here, next line or next page. But it's setting those boundaries for yourself. When do you go too far? When do you add too much to your life? And, of course, the most is, when I go to before I go to bed, I don't just dive on the covers. I take minutes to enjoy myself, to relax, to take the whole day in and be very thankful for the kind of life and career I have. That's setting those kind of margins. And I think that's what really stands out about this book. I mean, I could go into much, but there's a lot here. I'm already going through some more pages. I'm marking them. I've already thought of ways I'm going to use in my own classroom. But I really highly recommend, if you are feeling that, mid-year burn. I mean, a lot of us are. I mean, yeah, winter break's over and we're like, oh, hey, new semester is going. And some people are saying, oh, the kids graduate in 4.5 months. Good. The school year is almost over. I got 18 more weeks. There just comes a time where you need to find that sanctuary, where you need to be self-care, where you need to find that center again, to breathe, to relax and say, you know what? I'm going to be okay. I can believe in myself and what I do, and I'm being better for myself so I can be better for others. And that's what really, Dan's book Sanctuaries is about. So Dan, thank you so much. DBC, thank you for continuing these wonderful books here that have been, something that's just been, in my mailbox on a constantly for the last now almost 5 years here. This is really good. So if you're new, an older teacher, or somewhere in the midpoint and you're feeling it, definitely pick up Sanctuaries here by Dan Tricarico. I know I messed up his last name. Sorry, Dan. I'm really sorry, but highly recommend this book here. It's really good. Go ahead and pick it up, and I think you will enjoy it. So thank you so much, and I'll see you out there.